will be hosting Cincinnati here at Huntington Bank Field. Your flagship home for Cleveland Browns football, 92.3 The Fan, coming up 1 o'clock Sunday. Andrew Siciliano, Nathan Zagura, Gerard Cherry on the sidelines. Going to be a fantastic time. Hopefully, Browns start off 1-0. I don't know how much that means to everybody. It means something for me, but we'll talk about that coming up today, tomorrow, and obviously Friday. Also, 2-second trivia coming up at 7:45. I got some audio to play. It kind of threw me off here. This is how the Browns evaluate their quarterbacks here, Owen. This is what it is. This is from Catherine Hickman, Browns assistant general manager. Hit it.
I'd say I'd just go back to the plan that we have in place for these guys when it comes to developing is acquiring as many valuable data points we can. Now we know these things take time. So what is that going to look like at the end of the year? I don't have a crystal ball to tell you, and I don't do well with hypotheticals, but I will say that every opportunity we will have to evaluate them, we will take. None of them is going to take, a back seat in how we plan and program for them with the reps that we have. And then from there, we'll see what the spring brings, and we'll evaluate all possibilities like we always do.
Well, I think a lot of people were upset about that because it wasn't much, but they're not going to give you much on anything. I wasn't very upset about that.
I watched that video.
Should I have been upset about that?
I think it's just indicative of, where the Browns are at.
Is it?
In a quarterback search.
Is it?
They're flailing away. They're flailing away. And I think the Shedeur Sanders pick just kind of confirmed that. They were throwing darts. They threw another dart. It's going to be really hard for those darts to hit this year in their given situation, and they're going to throw another dart next year in the first round. And she's talking about data points and evaluating quarterbacks. And
well, are they going to be good or not good? The Browns. They're not going to be good, right?
This year?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Shouldn't it be pretty clear who they should take then? If they're going to have a high enough pick, shouldn't it be pretty clear? Do we need to? That's why I'm like, well, guys, we're kind of getting upset with a giant non-answer. You guys, I could very well be wrong with that. They could be doing that. But when you're drafting that high, third round, I don't disagree with you about what just happened. Let me point that out. Flailing away when you take Dylan Gabriel in the third round and Shedeur Sanders in the fifth, that does sound like flailing away. That is just, hey, let's pick quarterbacks and, well, we like this guy. He could be a career backup. We'll take him in the third round. We like this guy. He's got a high ceiling. Nobody else is taking him, and let's bring in Shedeur Sanders. That does sound like flailing away. I don't disagree with you now. But if everybody's still here in 2026, right now it's going to be tough to say, but if they're still here in 2026, shouldn't it be pretty obvious at that point who they would take? Is there really going to be a neck-and-neck thing? Now, I know some people after week one...
do you mean positionally or the actual person?
The quarterback, yes, the person too. Because if they have the number 2 pick, somebody's going to be number 1 with a bullet. And then you go, well, all right, then let's figure it out for who number 2 is. Number 2 should still probably be somebody that you're pretty passionate about. Because I know everybody's kind of off on the quarterbacks week 1 saying, this 2026 class isn't going to be that good. It's week 1. You got guys who are not playing playing for the first time in a long time. I'm going to give them a little bit more time. The cream is probably going to rise to the top. And I'm sure, I brought up Lenore Sellers yesterday, I'm sure Drew Aller will be in that conversation by the time the season ends. But I'm not going to mention him until after November 1st with this fan base. Because it ain't going to happen. Because if I say anything about Drew Aller, then you're just a homer and you like him because he's from Medina. So fine, I'll be quiet about Drew Aller, even though I like the kid. I like Lenore Sellers. He ain't from here, from what I understand. Looks pretty good, pretty strong, pretty sturdy. I may feel very passionate about Lenore Sellers. Do I really need to get in a bunch of data points if I watch a lot of South Carolina football and go, hey, I watched him in 2024, then I watched him in 2025. He got better. He's big. He's fast. He's strong. He's got a good arm. Let's take that guy. Do I need to put together the data points or anything like that? That's why I'm thinking if we're talking about this last year, totally toned with you, flailing away, throwing darts at the board. Fine. Let's see if we get lucky with one of these guys. But here, no, there's no way they can mess it up. Obviously, they can mess it up, but there's no reason to overthink at the top of the draft if you're not going to be a very good football team. You had the one. Is it Seth Walder?
Yes.
He had the
his season simulation.
Season simulation. Yes. Is that ESPN correct?
Correct.
Okay. He had season simulation. 5-12. That probably puts you in the top 5 drafting. So maybe you got a decision between two guys and you got to get that one figured out. Or you just use your pick and the Jaguars pick and you move up depending on who it is. And we don't have to make that decision anymore because then it's going to be right there. I can't imagine we do all this with that top choice. John Dorsey, no matter what we think of him after the fact, John Dorsey, I think, was too much gut feeling sometimes. John Dorsey still knows how to pick players. Mm-hmm. Baker Mayfield's a pretty good quarterback, obviously. Did we have to reach a bunch of data points to pick Baker Mayfield number one overall?
Well, that is what I was going to ask the question about. So every team, when they go to the draft, especially at the top of the first round, they've done all the research. They've they've collaborated with their staff and all of their scouts. They've poured over the game film and they've analyzed it to death. My question is, when it comes to the Browns, the way she was talking, it almost seems like the Browns have their proprietary analytics method. Who knows how intact it is from even 3 years ago? Maybe it has adjustments every single year. Maybe it takes into consideration the trends of the NFL and how defenses react. And so they tweak that formula every single year. And I'll never understand how they tweak the formula to arrive at third round overdrafting Dylan Gabriel and then taking Shedeur Sanders 2 rounds later, because then is that another analytical model in the draft over a 5-year stretch? Here's the amount of quarterbacks we have to take and for a competitive spirit to be able to come up with a guy that could maybe start, or maybe it details who the backup could be. I don't know any of that. But the way she's talking, it seems to me that in their proprietary formula, they put it all in there. They put a blindfold on after that, and then whoever comes out with the highest number, that's the quarterback.
Is it like with the
Cleveland
chickens
Browns.
and the kazoo on South Park, where they cut off the head and the guy plays the kazoo, and wherever it lands, they're going to take that QB? They can't do that high in the draft.
I don't know.
They're not going to do that high in the draft.
Isn't that kind of what it sounds like to you? Is
They're not going to do that high in the draft.
You know what?
Right,
let me give her the benefit of the doubt.
Fire it away.
Let's analyze.
I'd say I'd just go back to the plan that we have in place for these guys when it comes to developing is acquiring as many valuable data points we can. Now we know these things take time. So what is that going to look like at the end of the year? I don't have a crystal ball to tell you, and I don't do well with hypotheticals, but I will say that every opportunity we will have to evaluate them, we will take. None of them is going to take, a back seat in how we plan and program for them with the reps that we have. And then from there, we'll see what the spring brings, and we'll evaluate all possibilities like we always do.
Did that make sense to her in her mind, and then it came out a different way? Or is that exactly how she wanted to say that?
Listen, as a person who's listened to
that answer was a mess.
As a person who's listened to a lot of Donald Rumsfeld,
there are no unknowns.
She did exactly what she was supposed to do. All right? It's not how I would have answered it, but I probably would have said too much. And she kept it vague. Mm-hmm. Certainly kept it vague. But I don't think if they get a high pick for a first-round quarterback next year.
The Browns have maintained their strategic advantage with their line of thinking. They haven't spoiled any of the secret sauce there, I can assure you that.